not, yes, my screen is visible.
Yes.
So I have this, in the topics like what I mentioned, external services management, I will take later, but we have to discuss something on the inventory management post purchasing. So this is the next level of activity what we do in SAP MM. So uh, you guys can write a new topic called SAP MM Inventory Management. Inventory management, and they are four major business processes. These four: goods receipt processing, goods issue, stock transfer, transfer posting, and physical inventory. These are the things we are going to learn. Done. These are the four areas: goods receipt processing, goods issue, stock transfer, transfer posting. We'll be learning the movement types over here, and the physical inventory. So let's go ahead. So if you can see here, this particular component in this particular business of SAP MM module. So you guys are able to access the system, right? So I hope like so. Right, in the SAP menu, easy access, SAP menu, right, this path, logistics, MM, inventory management. Inventory management. In that, take the major folders: goods movement, material document, reservations. These three are the major folders. Reservations. These are the areas like which we will be seeing. And right, MIGO, MIGO, MIGO. MIGO is central transaction. MIGO is a central transaction code. So that is the MIGO transaction code will provide the overview of purchase orders, orders, reservations, material documents, etc. Right. So the deals with inventory management deals with the following tasks. Right. This management of material stocks, management of material stocks on a quantity and value basis. Management of material stocks on a quantity and value basis, because all the inventory will talk about how much quantity has been in the stock, and what is the value of the stock. So that's very important. The material ledger will count the total value of this material. So that's why this inventory. Then planning and documenting all entries of goods movement. That means to which plant, through which route the stock is entering. So those are called goods movements, because in inventory, remember, everything happens with something called movement types. I've discussed about those movement types. There'll be various numbers like 301, 302, 601. So SAP has designed certain numbers, so which will decide the stock movements of each of these materials. So take the second point: planning, documenting entry of all goods movements. Then physical inventory, sometimes the inventory has to be physically updated by the stock valuators or the purchasing the stores team, so which will deal with this inventory. In some companies, the purchasing team itself will carry the inventory information as well. So take this next point: carrying out physical inventory. We'll discuss the topic separately, each of these things, but yeah, right now you take the tasks what we handle in inventory. Carrying out physical inventory. So in SAP, inventory can be carried out, take this point, for company's own stock and for special stock. So what are special stocks? External consignment from other vendors, or consignment stock, or customer stock. Sometimes you have to manage the customer stock at your place, so he will be using it according to his requirement, because he doesn't have a storage of his own. So he may buy it much ahead, but the delivery happens in different phases. So returnable packaging is another. The packaging boxes or huge tins have to be returned back. So take this: physical inventory is carried out for the following types of stocks. Number one, own stock. Number two, special stock. In the special stock, write this A as consignment stock, B as external consignment, external consignment from vendor or returnable packaging. You take this. IM. IM is inventory management, is part of MM component and fully integrated with entire logistics system. Inventory management is part of MM component and is fully integrated to the logistics system. So logistics means you write this. Logistics is something called shipping, transportation, warehouse management. Logistics system here means shipping, entire delivery mechanism, transportation, all these things, warehouse management, shipping, transportation, warehouse management, all these things are fall off because whenever you are doing the inventory management, so the warehouse mechanism also should be updated. So that's what he says, it is completely integrated. And write this point in a elaborate way. Basic processes of inventory management are as following. Number one, goods receipt. Number two, goods issue. Number three, stock transfer. And you have already written this, but yeah, I think you don't need this point. The basic process of inventory. So anyway, you have written this here. So transfer posting, you don't need. So remember this whenever we are doing this inventory management, we need a PO to or for internal transfer any of the stock transport order STO. You write this. For inventory management, we need purchase order or stock transport order. stock transport order or purchase order. So STO is for the internal movements. Okay, so that is the reason we don't we will have our internal vendor number and we'll be moving from one plant to other sometimes though as per the production requirements or maybe customer requirements. In that case we use stock transport order. You write this. Stocks are managed in two types. Number one, quantity wise. Number two, value wise. So so the first one, by quantity, right? Quantity quantity stocks are handled at warehouse, managed at warehouse. Then stocks related to next point. Stocks related to reserved reserved and the next one is stocks related to inspection because there'll be a lot of quality inspection. Then the next point, stocks by value. See, this point by point, you need to remember these things. Okay, when next time we are going to discuss this, I'll be going to check whether you guys remember all these points or not, because while working on the system, these points will not come into action, because you may remember one point and you may not remember. But if you remember this conceptually, like inspected stock, reserved stock, warehouse stock, so received and unreceived stock. So these are the points, like when some moments happen with quantity, if there is any error or if there is any process related issue, just a minute, I'm going to connect my charger. Managing stocks by value. So there are three things, because here it is by value. Value is always related to accounts. So write this: quantity and value, because when value comes into picture, quantity is referred, but it is not, quantity is not the main thing here. The value, that means the money what you spend for that stocks, or the purchasing value of the stock including tax and everything. So that would be very much with respect to the profit center, because in the finance they should know, after selling the stock, after the taxes, the liabilities, transportation cost, so what is the profit you're going to make it. So the inventory stock value is after deducting all these things, because even the cost of storage is also involved in it. So there are many financial parts coming to picture, but for us, that is called a middle ledger, whatever I'm talking about. But now remember, this stocks by value is quantity and value for inventory management. Write this: stocks by value, number one, quantity and value for inventory management. Number two, point number two, account assignment for cost accounting. If you remember, in purchasing, we have assigned certain accounts. General ledger accounts for financial accounting. General ledger accounts. Right? Done? Shall I go ahead? Niranjan?
Yep.
So the whole process, like in the inventory, like the process will go in these 8 steps. So where the requirements will be determined from your purchase order records, then the source from which it is coming, then your vendor selection will be automatically done through the costing or the quotations what they give and whatever it is. From there, the purchase order processing, then the follow-up of the order, that means how much, in how many days they can give you the quantity of that stock which we require. Then there is a GR, goods receipt is done in our inventory management, and after that the invoice verification payment. So the process of the entire MM actually, in fact, he's just talking about step number 6, but it ends with invoice verification. So it doesn't stop at inventory. Inventory is between the purchasing and invoice verification. You write this point. Inventory management is between the purchasing process and invoice verification.
Can you come again?
Inventory management is between the purchase process and the invoice verification. Between this, actually, after the purchase order, you need to receive the goods, all these things, the stocks and everything are received here. Against that stock, whether exactly whatever we ordered, the same stock has come. So if the same stock has come, what I need to invoice, so that I need to understand. So every invoice and every stock will be verified here. Then the payment is done after the verification. Payment is never done before the invoice is verified. So invoice verification is a very strong process. And write this: invoice verification is integrated to FICO module. Invoice verification is integrated to FICO module. So I just take a screenshot of this.
Yes.
Done.
Yes.
So, and the other important part as an MM consultant, you have to remember these points. The logistics of SAP MM, which has MM as inventory management, is one of the component. So if you can see this, material requirement planning is talking about two things: internal procurement and external procurement. So internal procurement is for production, external procurement is purchasing. So the purchasing we generally do it for our external procurement. Internal procurement is through production. If you can see for this MRP. So what he says, for external we do the invoice receipt. For internal, so we do the goods receipt. And here you can see this transfer postings and goods issues. So there are two parts. So when we are doing purchasing over here, so the GR is done for both the external procurement cases and also the internal procurement cases. Whereas invoice receipt is mostly done for most cases it will be. If you can see this goods issue, why should I issue the goods here? And why should I receive the goods here? What is the difference between both of them? What is this GR and what is this GI? Any idea?
GR is the
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead. Hello.
GR is the good receipt, right? You got the receipt, then you verify it. Good issues, good issue. The good, no.
See,
Uh,
I'll just explain you. So this goods receipt is receiving. See, there are two things. I may purchase from outside or I may produce. If I have the capability, I will manufacture it within our factory itself, isn't it?
okay, yep.
Right. So whatever it is, I need to do the goods receipt here. And once I do the goods receipt, then I'll send it to the warehouse. See, from the GR, it is receiving to a warehouse, and because directly from the GR, I'll not consume it, isn't it? I will put it somewhere, isn't it?
Okay,
The huge stock
okay,
will be the GR, because without receiving the stock, I cannot bring them inside.
okay.
Got my point?
Without
To
resume.
bring inside the factory, I have to do the GR. And if I want to sell, see, there are two things. I think this diagram you cannot do this. Don't do a screenshot because this is covering very good integration part of sales, purchasing, production, invoice verification, WM. There are a lot more things in this small diagram here. So here, if you can see, we may do two things, isn't it? We may sell these products or we may consume for our own process.
Mm-hmm.
Both are possible, isn't it?
Right.
There are some items we consume for our internal purposes. There are some items we may sell.
Sir,
So,
yes.
so that's what he says. The goods issue and transfer posting is done for the case of consumption
Consumptions and sales.
sales. And here, in this case, the invoice received, invoice is verified, and it will go to financial accounting. So he's saying the purchasing will work in two ways. One is the invoice receipt is also sent because we have received an invoice to pay this much. So why it is sending this here? Why the invoice receipt has to come here? Because the invoice receipt will say that this much stock has been sent to you, maybe from external procurement. They're saying this stock is sent to your company. Can you please pay us for this many number of items? 500 items, you
Okay.
have to pay us around $50,000. So this
Mm-hmm.
invoice receipt is again going to verify with the goods receipt, isn't it? They both need to talk to each other or not? Hello. The invoice receipt need to integrate with goods receipt, isn't it? Hello.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not sure about that.
The money, see, the invoice is the payment what we need to make to the external vendor, isn't it?
Correct, correct.
Invoice means. So the vendor is saying that I have already sent 500 or 50 products to your company or 50 Xerox machines. Okay. So
Okay,
they are
okay,
invoicing 50 Xerox machines. So this receipt has
okay.
to send to them because here the 50 should be there in the receipt.
Right.
isn't it?
That is
So,
on the goods receipt.
yeah. So invoice receipt will be integrated with this goods receipt, and it will be seeing that okay, if it is any contradiction, the payment will not be done. That's the reason
Okay.
verification is happening here because the stocks in the warehouse and the purchasing document what is invoiced here, that also should match. So that matching is done
Uh,
here. So you please take this diagram, write this, don't take a screenshot because this is going to be very vital in your integration of till now what we have learned and what we are
mhm.
discussing for next 10 days. You just take,
Okay.
and don't forget to conduct all this integration you require master data, batches, batch materials, material, vendor, GL accounts, customer and storage bins. These are very
What is the difference?
seven
Wh-
different data
What is
which you require.
yes, sir. What is batches?
Oh, batches are something, if one batch, in one batch, if you are going to manufacture around 300 materials, so if you see a medicine, there'll be a batch number in
Mm.
that if you see on the box.
Right, right.
Yeah, so they are because in manufacturing sector we use this batch management. So this is an external production concept. So where we call batches because the products what you manufacture belong to a batch. So that's what he's
Okay.
saying. The batch information, if needed, you need to create.
Oh, master data?
Master data is vendor master, middle master.
No, actually, the reason I'm telling is you have already master material and vendor. Then what exactly the difference is?
Other master
You
data
have material,
like
you have
customer master, GL master. So there are many master
it's
data.
there already.
Yeah. So in this, he's saying all parts of master data actually. So this master
Okay.
data in which like batch is also a master, middle is any other vendor
Okay. Okay.
master data which you require.
Okay. Fine.
So he has
Okay. Got it.
selectively mentioned that.
Mhm. I have a small doubt.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Just for my understanding, you have the good receipts. In the good receipt, basically in the it's in the premises of the manufacturer,
Yeah.
and you push the based on the goods received, you push the data, put the data into a warehouse management, right?
Uh-huh.
And from there, what are the needed for the production or what should goes out? That should be goods issue, right?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Goods receipt is basically enter into the warehouse management. Goods issue will be the item which is coming out from the warehouse management. Is it
Yeah.
right?
Whether it is
Okay,
consumed or sold, both are called issues.
okay, okay, fine,
Yeah.
fine.
Ravi, I'm not able to log in into the system. Did we change the password or user ID?
Which user it is?
Uh, Demo 1,
Oh, it's demo
and
11.
I have used
Can you check demo 11 once now?
Demo 11, and password will be 99 Kiran 99.
Yeah. You try that. If doesn't work, go for India 123.
Yeah, it's working. Okay.
One second. Like I'm just checking that batch management. So you take this transaction code for batch management. Generally, MSC1N is create, MSC2N is change, MSC3N is display, MSC1N, C2N, and C3N. These are all materials like which are batched in this particular IDS. So write this. Some of the material numbers are associated with batch numbers. Example: 200-200, 200-200 is associated with a specific batch number. This 200-200 is nothing but green paint, belongs to a coating class. Class type is 023. That is batch 023. Like this, even in medicines, they will have a separate class according to their chemical combination. So you can also see the viscosity and density. See, basically, as we are seeing, the batch information is more about the number, and these numbers you need to remember, they are designed very uniquely. Actually, these numbers, whatever externally they are giving these batch numbers, so these are again having certain importance. The series is not just created simply with like the 0808 or something. So there will be certain significance of certain plant numbers, certain region or country code. So they will try to design this accordingly. So it is not, batch numbers are not simply given numbers. Yeah. So most of these batch information, like what we are talking about or here, as I said, it's coming under Metal Master. So here, if you, when you go to this any Metal Master you open, you write this. Open the Metal Master, go to the classification view, go to the classification view, in the object block, the batch details are the batch details are integrated with a class type. Integrated with a class type. Right. So this inventory, what we're talking about, because many of the other things you have already seen. You know what is customer, what is vendor. Storage bins again is not within our purview, but batches I try to. So in this particular inventory activity, like you also need to understand So many other things are helping or updating back. Uh, why do you need a goods receipt slip to be updated to Metal Master? Because whenever you see the master data, you should understand what is the total goods received and what is the stock available. So can we see the stock from Metal Master? There's any view in the Metal Master? Something called
Display
storage
history.
location stock, plant stock. You have those pages there, right? In Metal Master.
Okay.
So if you can see this goods receipt slip, GR slip is updated in the PO history and PO. So he says that as soon as the GR is received, the PO is updated. So recently selected. This is the PO quantity, the net price. The net weight of the each of if there are 10 products, it will calculate the net weight of it. Then the delivery schedule. So in this diagram, it is saying what is this PO history, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah. So here what it is saying? What is this?
Pure history. Pure history.
You write this point. PO history is updated automatically after GR and IR. IR is invoice receipt with respect to material document, posting date, amount, etc. Right? Done? So I hope you guys are able to understand what you can ask me question like if you're not able to understand what is this, why it needs to update here. This is the point I'm trying to make it. So I'm opening a metal master. I'll click F4 here. So there are different views you can see. The stock views here, storage location stock. So in this storage location stock, it will tell you what is the last period, like which is what is the current period, and what is the storage location stock right now available, if there is anything blocked. So these details it will give you.
Ravi, meanwhile, I have a question.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Initially, when you selected first time when you do the metal master, then after that you did a selected views,
Uh-huh.
and after that you selected multiple views, right? At a time around 10 to 15.
Yes,
Those are coming as a tab, right?
absolutely.
So my question is, those views, it's based on the customer requirement. We need to create those views, or how those views are appear when you like when you do a master's metal master, right? Then you selected, and then after enter you got the view options, right?
Yes, yes.
The number of views, how it is coming? Like, is it we need to configure or
No, the standard views are 30. It's your wish you use 2 or 30, because in SAP their options are given to you. You can leave the rest empty actually. If you want to remove those views, you can configure. You can remove, but there is no use of removing them. You can, if you want to remove these views, you can remove, because
basically
MM
the
module guys use 4 or 5. SD guys will use 4 or 5 out of this. All will not be used by, because suppose the sales text you don't use it, but if you remove it, if they want to enter any sales data to this material, where will they enter?
okay. Ba Basically, the view is the integration point of different modules, I would
Absolutely.
say, different,
Absolutely.
let's say, right?
Yeah, yeah. So every
Like you are in a
information
one page.
stored here. Suppose the FICO guys will go to this accounting view, and these guys, period wise, they will see what is the valuation class, what is the price. These things
Okay, okay,
are updated by them. But as an MM
okay.
consultant, I will go and check here.
Basically, I need to, if you say technically, I need to create those views, then associate the views with the material master, which are the views I need as a part of material master.
Absolutely. So in the back end, they have given you this. I'll just go into that screen.
లిప్ బామ్ ఎక్కడుందా?
If you can see this material master here, configuring the material master. So you can see this, right? So as per your requirements, you can always hide certain fields here. So there are a lot of technical field requirements here. So it is, you can hide screens, hide field groups. So if once I hide it, see, you cannot delete it. Only thing is, from a particular configuration point of view, you can always hide those selection groups actually. Automatically that will not appear in the, but we don't generally suggest anyone to do it, because uh, it's not going to harm you, isn't it? The backend database of SAP is so huge, you don't have any issue of keeping them. You can only hide, you cannot delete in SAP any of these fields or any of these groups, any of these menus. So they will never ask you to remove them actually. See, you have an option to do that, but you can see this simply, you can click this and delete it. Okay, but it's not suggestible to generally do that, though he has given the, to maintain order of main and additional screens. So here is another see the screen sequences here, the MRS key, the you can see 11 member B2. So these are all, you can see this basic data 1, basic data 2, sales text, purchasing. So they have given a lot of screen numbers and sequences, accounting 1, accounting 2, whatever views you are seeing there. So these things can be, so this is where the configuration can, it's Niranjan. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, got it. So you take this transaction code OMT3B, the data screens can be copied and removed over here. But do remember these settings, we don't do it so often.
Okay.
So here, why we are trying to see, because once the GI has been updated, the stock value is automatically updated in the middle master. It is showing unrestricted, restricted, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there the stock value will be automatically updated here, and here in the PO the GI slip itself has been updated, isn't it? The invoice receipt or goods receipt, both can be updated here. We have seen in the screen, isn't it? IRR,
Correct.
GR. So again, after the receipt, it's an issue. Issue will go to a stock transfer or a transfer posting. Take the screenshot. Done.
Yes.
Upload this to the folder. The folder is MM, right? What is the folder's name, Sandeep?
SAP MM, I think.
SAP MM. Okay, thanks. So we are discussing more about the goods receipt till now, and something called goods issue, because post goods movement, once we start doing it on the system, so you will also see a lot of activities on the goods issue part. So you write this: inventory management. Stage 2 is, till now we have discussed about goods receipt processing. So in the heading of our class starting, if you did not write, you please write till now what we have discussed is called goods receipt processing. Right now we are going to discuss about goods issue. Right. This goods issue is a goods movement. Goods issue is a goods movement where we can do the following, or where we can conduct the following activities. Number one, material withdrawal. Material withdrawal. Material withdrawal, material issue, consumption, shipment. Shipment is again sales related.
What is the difference like metal withdrawal, metal issue?
Uh, Difference between issue and consumption.
Metal would because what I understood is goods issue is basically you are getting the item from the
Hmm.
whereas management out of the from that to either for your
Oh,
use for own premises or to send it to the any
yes.
customer wherever needed, right?
Yes.
So what is the difference between three different difference like
See,
when you say that metal withdrawal, when you say metal issue, when you
yes.
say metal congestion, it's
See,
same thing but a different.
yeah, yeah. Different words they use here because the usage is different. So
Right.
withdrawal is something, you I I am not issuing to someone. I'm withdrawing it for I don't know for what is the end use, but I need to withdraw from the stock and put it somewhere in some other store, actually some other local, because there may be 5 6 plants around, so we are withdrawing it for I don't know whether I'll consume it or issue it to someone else. Again, second level can be there, isn't it?
Okay.
There'll be a, see, basically there'll be a major depot, there'll be a second depot somewhere. So for him, he cannot say that I'm consuming, I'm issuing. What should I do? What should he do?
Okay.
He should only
Basically,
withdraw
what
that.
I understood.
Yeah, only he need to withdraw it. So he will mention that for withdrawal there is a special movement that's called material withdrawal. So he cannot say that whether it is an issue to someone else or is a consuming or shipment. In that cases they will go for withdrawal. So material issue, the material issue is by the issuer, but the stores manager, he says that I'm issuing this. So the stock, in some cases the issue records are more important than the consumption records, because in some manufacturing industries the consumption is can be maintained. In some businesses, they cannot maintain the consumption. They can only maintain the issue because there are 100 resellers in front of the factory itself. There are some small ancillary units. So I will, and these people will pay me every 3 months or every 2 months on a credit basis. So I can only say that I'm issuing. I cannot say I am consuming, isn't it? Can I do that? In that case, only the issue, material issue records are only maintained. Very small
Okay.
change between all these things. Consumption. Consumption is for my production needs. Purely, I am consuming it. So I'm mentioning that this is for consumption. And the last one is a customer is paid for me. He is buying it. So I have to, for the shipment, also I need to maintain the GI in the sales order. Got it?
Let me summarize it at
Yeah,
like shipment good for customer person. This is purely for the customers whom you are giving the material,
absolutely.
and all the three metal withdrawal, metal issue, metal consumption. I believe it's internal to the plants only. Is it
Yes, internal to
right?
the warehouse.
Uh, Whereas in okay, it's inter it will not go to the external facing customer. It should be within the
Absolutely.
manufacturer, different plants, maybe different store locator, different
Yeah,
warehouse management. It's happening.
yes. Because consumption, as I said, every material which
It's
is
for the product.
issued cannot be consumed, and every
Okay.
material which is withdrawn cannot be issued. So there are certain restrictions. See, why this kind of this many variations SEB has maintained, because different customers have come up with different requirements. So they have divided them at micro level.
But I have a little. I understood the issue part, like you said, like this issued by the store manager.
Yeah, yeah.
How you'll be issuing, but on the withdrawal part, little bit like not clear. The reason is that withdrawal says that the name suggests I'm going the naming convention. As the name suggests, I put some material in some storage location. Now I'm withdrawing it, right?
It,
Maybe it's excess amount, maybe something else.
here
That's the reason I'm
you can
withdrawing
see
it.
this.
Or maybe
See
some other
here,
reason.
here.
Uh,
Withdrawal of material for production or service orders, because you are having certain service order, a big lathe machine is there, your company has
mhm.
manufactured it. In that you have to change some parts,
Okay.
so small materials. For that case you can withdraw. You're not
Or
consuming
is it
for it.
something, is it something, let's say I send the material, I realized that it's a defective material due to some reason I found it's differently. Now send a notice saying that now I'd like to withdraw that material. Is it? I don't know, but I'm just asking. Does it make
That
sense?
is your taking a written order. No, that is written. Those are called
Okay, fine.
returns.
Okay, reverse loss is
Here
it
it
an
is
okay?
withdrawal of material for production or service orders. So what happens is your manufacturing company is manufacturing lathe machines or
Mm-hmm.
cards or whatever it is. That has come
Mm-hmm.
for that there is a service to be done for that. For that,
Right.
you are what you are doing is we are withdrawing it from the warehouse. You are withdrawing it from the warehouse. It is you are not consuming for your own thing, and you are not issuing to someone, because against this withdrawal also you need to collect money from the customer, whoever is whoever is owning that car or that lathe machine,
Okay.
right? So what we refer to this for withdrawal, because there is a machine came for service, so and so customer has we have created a service order, but that service order needs certain materials, so I am going to withdraw against this service order. As I said, withdrawal
Okay.
is something, referring to something beyond this consumption, beyond these issues. So that's where we call it as withdrawal of material. So generally, you write this. Material withdrawal is done for two things. One is production, two is service orders. See, all these things generally they have movement types. We will discuss like as we go ahead. So here, if you can see this, the goods issue, the withdrawals, scrap. This is what you're talking about returns, isn't it?
Okay. That's right.
Yeah.
That's returns.
For the
Okay.
asset, internal assets, the issuing for because we have some our own machines is an asset. So for that also we need some materials. Internal order, cost center. For that also you need to send the GI. So there are different issues here. So withdrawal is one of them.
Okay.
Right. So the consumption or shipment of goods to a customer post. You read this next point. A goods issue leads to a reduction in warehouse stock. That is the main purpose, isn't it?
Yes.
Issue means reduction of stock.
Yeah. You can go ahead.
Yeah, you write this. Movement type in SAP system is a three-digit key used to differentiate the goods movements. Movement type. So I'll discuss tomorrow what are these movement types. As I said, there are some numbers like 301, 601, 602, 302. So why that numbers have come, I'll discuss around most important movement types. The movement type is a 3-digit key used to differentiate between goods movements. Example: GR, GI, or TP. TP is transfer posting.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
GR, GI, and TP. So I'll be uploading these documents. Let us catch up tomorrow and the same meeting ID. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
See you then.
Bye.